Okay. Welcome back to the third part of our tutorials on classroom management in COPS. Okay, so there is a place. Okay. Management. That we say all that we educators do, the strategies and methods or techniques we do to create and sustain a conducive learning environment. This refers as classroom management by Umuren. Saboni and et al. Also says that effective classroom management should cut across all subject areas. We also looked at the simplified definition of classroom management, how we should closely observe our learners and identify their needs and respond to their needs. We went on to look at why there is a need for us to study the topic called classroom management. So under this, we talked about the GES implementing a package, an intervention package with the support of UNICEF to make our schools and classroom child friendly. So we said the package was called the GES Positive Discipline Toolkit, the GES Positive Discipline Toolkit. And so we'll be learning about this. During that, the need for us to learn classroom management, we spoke about the use of corporal punishment, its negative effects, and how teachers get themselves always committed. And because we are not equipped with the various friendly ways to discipline our learners in the classroom, we have decided to bring the positive discipline toolkit to the doorsteps of our teachers so that we can implement that one without getting ourselves committed. During that lesson, I made mention that GS has banned corporal punishment in pre-tertiary schools. So director, kindly project this letter for us whilst I review. No, please go back the letter whilst I review the previous lesson. So they read, no, forward, forward. After the PD, the positive discipline, the next one, next, that's the letter. Okay, so you can zoom the letter and read about it, dated the 10th of January 2019. This letter was sent to various pre-tertiary schools to inform them that GS has officially banned the use of corporal punishment. They proposed it in 2016 and it came into effect in 2017. So teachers are banned from the use of corporal punishment. So if any teacher uses corporal punishment and gets himself or herself into trouble, GES or any of the teacher unions cannot come in to defend that teacher or cannot get a lawyer for that particular teacher. So we should be aware. So after that, we learned about the various management styles. Then we learned about the authoritarian, authoritative. Please let it be here. Authoritarian. The authoritative, authoritarian, the permissive, and the uninvolved. We said that the most preferred one by Dinah Boomerang is the authoritative. So we can implement any of these depending on the situation. We looked at the components of classroom management, that is classroom design, setting of rules, scheduling and organization, and instructional techniques or methodology. Then we looked at the various universal classroom strategies that work. We model ID behavior. We should offer praises We should not punish the whole class. We should encourage initiative. We should encourage positive and negative reinforcement, give tangible rewards, and that. So we are now to look at the GS Positive Discipline Toolkit. What is it about? Per the letter that we have on our screen, we have to be enhanced with the positive ways to discipline our learners so that we wouldn't use corporal punishment. Okay, so what is the PD about? Director, kindly project it and let us look at what the PD is about. Okay, so we have various things here that we are asked to see if we can relate what is happening. Would this make which school environment would you prefer your learner to be? You see, your word, if you should have a word like this, you people are disturbing. If you should have a word like this, you have to force the word to school. You have to beat the child or drag the child to school. What could be the possible cause? So we are saying that because our school environments are not friendly, like the private schools, we see a teacher welcoming the learners in a lovely way with some gestures and play with the learners and welcome them to class. They feel at home. But come to our private public schools, is it the same? Our learners don't want to go to most schools. Even some private schools are there, the learners don't want to go because the environment is not welcoming. So the positive discipline tool is here to make our schools child friendly, conducive for learning, teaching and learning to take place, for the teacher to also feel safe in the school. Okay, so the PDA or the positive discipline is using proactive, preventive, and corrective interventions to address misbehavior. And then it seeks to create an environment which is conducive and to support children learning, help children to learn and explore. Then it is there to clear, it is clear and what consistent, a clear and consistent form of communication to our learners. Then it is consistent reinforcement of expectations, rules, and limits. Consistent reinforcement of expectations. You have an expected learning behavior from your learners. Then you reinforce such learners. So in a consistent way, using the positive discipline tool, you set your rules to create a disciplined environment for your learners. And then you have your limits that learners or the teachers must reach. The positive discipline tool is there to guide us do all this. Then it focuses on encouragement and problem solving. That's one of the core competencies of the curriculum, critical thinking and problem solving. So the positive discipline tool is there to foster encouragement and also foster problem solving skills of our learners. All right, so director, please can we go forward? As I said earlier on, if you have any question, you can write it down. We'll give you time to ask your questions. Okay, so it teaches children and guides their behavior. The positive discipline tool, or in short, PD, teaches our children and guides their behavior while respecting their right to healthy development, protection from violence, and participation in their learning. Focuses on long-term solutions and not short-term. You just gain them and that's all. No, the positive discipline so focuses on long-term solutions and then develops children's own self-discipline, and their lifelong skills. The PD would help children to develop their own discipline measures. They get themselves disciplined and then foster their lifelong skills or enhance a long life learning skills. Then it's about teaching nonviolence, empathy, self-respect, human rights, and respect for others. If we don't cane them, they will not also cane somebody. So most teachers will say, when I was a child, the way they used to cane me, the way they used to flog me, I have to also do that to discipline you. It's about what? Teaching nonviolence. So if we are nonviolent to our learners, they'll also not be violent to their colleagues or whoever. Then when we show empathy, our learners will also develop to show empathy to others. Self-respect, it teaches what? Human rights and respect for others. So the positive discipline tool is about being nonviolent, showing empathy, being self-respected, promoting human rights, and then respect for others. Okay, please, let's go on. Due to time factor, we'll just study the key elements of the PD. We have mutual respect, encouragement with praise, problem solving, and then let's go. Okay, there is understanding, it teaches, there is communication, you ask questions, listen, and establish their consequences. These are the key elements of the PD or positive discipline tool. Okay. Then benefits of the positive discipline toolkit. The benefits are displayed on your screen based on getting to know learners and being fair, building a mutually respectful relationship with your learners, teaching learners lifelong skills and their love of learning or their love for learning, teaching courtesy, teaching nonviolence, empathy, as I explained earlier on. So these are the benefits. What the learners can benefit, the teachers can also benefit from the positive discipline toolkit when we discipline them positively. Okay, so now the GS positive discipline toolkit. It's not about not hitting children, but helping children to succeed, giving information and supporting their growth and development. The PD is not just about not hitting them, but what? You help them to succeed. You give information and support their growth and development. It is nonviolent and, as I explained earlier on, and respectful, and aims to do what? Intervene early and correct potential bad behaviors before it becomes a serious threat. Early intervention is critical for positive discipline. When you identify a misbehavior, you intervene early. You should address it early, find a solution to it before it goes out of hand or it becomes a serious threat to the school, to the nation, and to everyone as a whole. Okay, levels of the application of the positive discipline toolkit. There are 4 levels. There are 4 levels of application. The first level is called creating a disciplined environment. It's about you creating a disciplined environment. And the response is what? Proactive, preventive, and corrective measures. That's the first level of application. So you need to set your rules. Need to create a disciplined environment. Set your rules to govern your class, or you have a constitution in the school to govern the school, so that if a learner falters, you can have your evidence or your base to discipline that learner. If you don't have any rule spelled out to the learners and the learner misbehave, what base are you going to use to discipline the learner? You have no proof or no base. Therefore, you need to create an environment that is well disciplined for the learners to abide. So if you have now created your rules with the sanctions for the learners to follow, and a learner breaches the rule, one of the rules for the first time, we call it the minor offense or the first time offense. So the learner breaches your rules that you have set. What do? You use early intervention or early detection. You detect it, you approach the learner, investigate to know why the learner did that. If the learner has fought in the school for the first time, you need to know, investigate. Is it a habit? Is it someone who forced him to fight? Or what are the contributing factors to the child misbehavior in the school? You need to investigate. If the child is not punctual to school, you need to know why the child is not punctual. If the child puts up any misbehavior, you need to closely observe the learner and also get to know why the learner did that. You don't punish, it is non-punitive. You don't punish at that level. Then at level 3, the learner repeats the offense for the second time. You have already, during the first time, you can counsel the learner, advise the learner. You need to let the learner know the consequences of breaching the rules. That's level 1. You need to let the learner know the consequences of breaking the rules. Remind the learner of the rules and warn the learner that if he or she puts up that same misbehavior again, we are going to deal with the learner or punish the learner based on the sanctions that are spelled out. So if the learner now repeats the offense for the second time, we call it what? Repeated or more serious offense. That is level 3. So with level 3, it is punitive. We can punish the learner. Don't cane the learner, please, not corporal punishment. We have various positive discipline ways we can give to our learners. And with this, you need to correct the learner with the positive discipline measures. One is what? You can let them write lines. You can let them, last we were saying something about kneeling down, and the Catholics said that they have been kneeling down in class, in church. So if you say kneeling is a punishment, then the Catholics will see it as a punishment and not a way of worshiping God. Fine. Also, we say raising of the hands. Our Muslims also raise their hands. Even Pentecostal churches, they raise their hands in reverence to God. So raising your hand for a long time. So you let the learner kneel down and raise the hand for a long time. Or if we want to bring religious belief, wouldn't be able to apply most of the punishment. So let's see what will work for us. Then we give to our learners. Weeding too is not a form of punishment because the farmers are also against it as a form of punishment. Those who are pursuing agree. When we say weeding is a punishment, then it will deter them from uh, pursuing agree as a cause. So weeding is also out of the punishment way. But we can do it. Let them write lines. You can let them, you can detain them in class and let them write the lines for about 2 or 3 pages. They can scribble for, even if it is nursery or KG, they can scribble for a long time. When they scribble like that all the time and they get tired, they will refrain from whatever misbehavior they have been putting up. Also, we can let them scrub for the whole week. We can let them arrange the sitting decks every morning, and after closing, they will clean, they can sweep the classroom morning and afternoon, or morning and when you close, before lesson and after lesson. We can assign them positive ways that they can do. Maybe they can bring dusters, they'll be cleaning the board, or they'll be fetching water for the classroom and all that. We'll put the positive discipline on your platform for you to study it on page 5 and 6. You get to know the forms of punishment you can use for your learners. Also, you can counsel them, you refer them to the counseling unit for counseling. Now, if the learner continues to repeat after you have done all this, the learner repeats the same offense for the third time. We call it the chronic offense, the chronic offense, or the dangerous and disruptive behavior. This one is dangerous. You need to use rehabilitative measures, such as referring them to, maybe if you identify a problem, maybe you can bring in a clinical psychologist to study the learner and know what the problem of the learner is, and you help the learner. You can also refer the learner to the counseling unit. You invite the parents. You call the parents to come to school, meet the PTA or the discipline committee, then you find measures. Maybe if you have to suspend the learner for a week, maybe internal suspension or external suspension, you can apply any of them. You can also detain the learner at an enclosed area for the learner to reflect and think about the consequences of the misbehavior he or she put up. And then the learner will learn from the mistakes and correct himself or herself from them. Thank you very much. We believe that when we implement all this that we have learned, we'll be able to produce good leaders for our country. We'll be able to raise good citizens for the country. We'll be able to raise useful citizens for Ghana as a whole and the world as a whole. We should own child. How are you going to deal with the learner? How are you going to deal with that child? You apply that same measures to your learner class. Thank you very much. We come to the end. Question time. Mr. Akon, I'm done. Please, question time. I've concluded.
So we are waiting for participants to ask questions. The floor is open.
If you have any question, you can raise your hand. If you have any contribution, you are warmly welcome. You raise up your hand and you will be called to answer. Techno WX4, please, are you talking? We can't hear you.
You were saying students should not be allowed
We
to.
can't hear you. Kindly write your question on the chat box. We'll read it out and address it. I don't know if it is from my end, but we can't hear you. I can't hear you. Any question or contribution, you are warmly welcomed. If you last we learned about assigning your learners leaders in each row or column. You should have a leader in each column to monitor them. They assist you. Set a TAs in your class to assist you. So if you have any suggestion, anything that really worked for you, you can bring in. If you have any question, all that we have explained, if you don't understand anything, tap your hand and then you ask your question, then we go on to address it. If not, I think we'll listen to the next directive from director.
Thank you all for coming, and God bless you. Mr. Agbe, please, are you here?
Okay, director, please, I hand over to you.
Yes, please, I'm there.
Yes, if you are here, let's see what we can do. Let's take them through how they can access their certificate. Is there anyone on board who wants
Mr.
to learn
Agbe,
how to access your?
Yes, I'm there.
If you are here and you want to learn how to access your certificate for the various trainings you have attended, we can take you through. If you are here and you want to know how to change your district in order to register for program in another district, let us know so that we take it through. All right, the floor is open for those who want or need help. Mr. Agbe, get prepared. If there's anyone who wants us to do that, then we support such a person. Many a times we'll be receiving complaints that I can't find my certificate, I can't, so the floor is open.
Should I do it?
So you can let me allow you to share your screen.
Okay, all right.
Oh. Okay, you can share your screen.
Good morning and Merry Christmas and happy blessed returns to all of you. NTC regulation, whatever CPD program that you attend, you must make sure you register on the TPG, Teacher Portal Ghana.
John Agbe is off. He's supposed
Okay.
to come back.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back. Okay.
Share your screen and continue.
So
we have just 1 minute to go end our program. So
all right, like we earlier said, per NTC regulation, whatever CPD program that you attend, you need to register on the Teacher Portal Ghana. And to do that, so you kindly log into tpg.ntc.gov.gh. Then you tap on login. So here you are faced with your login credentials, whereby you go to teacher login. Then you tap in your email address, then your password, and kindly take in the I'm not a robot. This is a security feature on the website that you have to untake or you have to take so that it prevents hackers from getting access to your account. And you tap in login. After that, you receive the interface of your portal, and here you kindly go to the left bottom, the round circle with the 3 white lines. So you tap the 3 white lines. Then you go to, because the program is registered in Ashanti region, you need to change your profile to access